On all of this. So with this latest news that came out that they added the $5 billion for the border security, where do you see all this going?
Well, as the package indicated, now it goes on to the Senate. It needs, as he said, 60 votes. That's going to be a tough challenge to get 9 Democrats, or more than 9, depending on who's there, to vote for the package. The flip side is that if you want to go to the mat on the wall, it also means a government shutdown.
And so many people get hurt by a government shutdown right at the time of the holidays. This is affecting real people, real lives.
Yes, and it's something goes on year after year, it seems, right? And decade after decade of these shutdowns, they can't seem to come to a compromise early enough to keep these from happening. And so every deal is done at the very latest hour, which isn't the way to run a government.
So if the government partially shuts down, it happens at midnight tomorrow, would it be immediate or would it be a trickle down, and which agencies would be affected?
Right, it tends to trickle down, and most of the key government functions will stay in place. It's a partial shutdown, but there are probably a million federal workers or some number like that who will be furloughed, and that's a problem.
In a situation like this, what happens with the military? Is that affected?
No, military will not. Some functions may be affected, but the military tends not to ever be affected by a shutdown.
Brian, it's interesting to me how President Trump used to always say border wall. Now what we are hearing is border security.
Yes.
There are already walls and fences covering 600 or so miles of the U.S.-Mexico border. What is inherently wrong with finishing that wall and those fences that are already constructed?
Well, for Democrats, this is a core issue in the Donald Trump re-election of 2020. Did he fulfill his promise? This is something that Democrats may not want to give him as a victory, because it allows him to take the victory, and a whole lot of people, by the way, who were elected this cycle running on that same issue. So you know, you hate to say a lot of this comes down to politics, but it comes down to politics.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if it was about politics. President Trump said today, "I've made my position very clear. Any measure that funds the government must include border security." He added, "Walls work whether we like it or not."
Well, and how interesting to just reflect on the last 48 hours, where the president was adamant about having walls, then appeared to vacillate, and then woke up after people really got on him from his own party, renewed vigor around the wall. This is Washington at its best. It's ebbs and flows.
Brian, before we go, just very quickly, how big a deal is it that Jim Mattis is resigning as defense secretary?
It's big. First of all, he is highly respected, and I think he felt terrible about what the decision was made relative to Syria. Generals hate to cede ground. They know someday they may have to go back in and take again.
All right, Brian Sobel, thanks for your comments tonight. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, concerns over